This is a Hot Pie original.
So I always thought, like, if I want to show love to a DJ, like, I'm just
shoulder shrug. The point. Pew pew.
You're just waiting for him to catch your eye because you're always looking at it, like, hey,
lock eyes.
Or I throw out the like, hey, or like, yeah, or like. Awesome. So my name is Lee, and I am the music dilettante on the Music Fringe. And this is a podcast that gets into micro genres. We talk about deep house, Mongolian throat singing, SoundCloud trance, freak folk, cowpunk. These are micro genres that a lot of people don't want to hear about, but I'm going to tell you about, and I'm going to go fishing for them and bring them to the surface and serve them to you, the people on the Music Fringe. And today we have Ferno, who will be joining me, who is a relatively new Austinite, but he's been in the music scene and he's also been on his hustle. I know a lot of people move to Austin and they find a good weed dealer and they go to Barton Springs, and that kind of like just mellows them out. And then they get a mushroom dealer and then they kind of forget who they are. They stop calling their family. But you seem to be more tapped into like entrepreneurial activities and just know what you want. You haven't lost that, I'm not going to say the rat race mentality, but like the drive, the ambition to go get something for yourself in a town that is just ripe with opportunity, a la Elon, Joe, and all these fun characters who have moved here now.
Facts.
So what brought you to Austin? I don't think we've ever talked about that.
No, we haven't. Hello, everyone. It's good to see and hear you, whatever. So basically, I was touring with Jazzy Jeff for like 7 years. And this was one of the stops we always made. And every time I came here and flew away, I always felt like a piece of me was being left behind. I don't mean to get all so deep, right?
So sentimental.
So deep, Austin. But nah, that's what it was. I started to realize that out of everywhere I've been in the world, my closest friends are here. So when the opportunity presented itself with this whole COVID thing to move from New York, I was like, let's try this out.
So you're a COVID refugee.
I am, 100%.
Welcome.
Thanks.
And you haven't gotten to see the city in its full glamour yet, with all of its traffic and Karens and, tech CEOs riding on Razor scooters around here, but you're starting to see it. People are starting to come out of their holes.
Yeah.
But how has it been? Because you're a DJ and you're into the music scene, which is kind of, been on shutdown since pandemics hit, and it's been rough on a lot of people, and live music just hasn't been happening. So what modicums or ways have you found to introduce yourself and get a foot in the door in this town?
I think a lot of it started before all of this started. So coming down here once a year, 4 times a year, 5 times a year, and just kind of getting into the scene, playing a lot of the bars and clubs here, a lot of the venues, experiencing ACL, South by Southwest, and all these things kind of helped to put myself within the community. You know what I mean? So I kind of came down here already with somewhat of a tribe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and Jazzy Jeff, he's always down here playing. Does he live? He doesn't live here.
He does not live here.
I feel like he'd lose his vibe if he lived here.
Is the vibe follows him.
That's the truest thing that's ever been said. But you do talk about, you just said that you felt like you were leaving something behind. Can we pinpoint that? What?
Let's try to do that. Let's try to figure that out right now. I think we can do
it, and maybe we'll find something new about ourselves along the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is a sense of like love, so to speak, right? It's a community of people that support each other without necessarily wanting anything from each other. And it's like, oh man, you do this. Oh, dope. This is how I can help you or whatever. And it's not just about the help, but it's just people that seem like they really they want the best for you and they want the best for themselves. They know how to work really hard and play really hard in the city, which I've learned. But yeah, I guess that just the community sense of like love and just people like just vibing with each other. You don't really get that anywhere else.
That's the truth. I grew up in Houston, and it's just very industrial. It's very classist, and it's like, who can we use to leverage to leapfrog to get our way up the ladder? Austin, you have a lot of people who are just fine running their farms or making candles or granola. And these people could have been MIT professors with 3 PhDs, yet they just want to sit and make, owl houses out of balsa wood and sell those, at a farmer's market. But they're going to do whatever they can to help you. And they've got all these tools. It's a very highly educated and highly motivated population. The thing is, it's just like the rat race isn't on overdrive here. And, there are people willing to teach you how to candle make and 100%. Make granola.
Yeah.
But with your style of music, I know it's house-based. Yeah. And since we're on a microgenre podcast, I'm going to put you on the spot. But, if Spotify executives showed up right now, we're like, we got to get you onto all of our Spotify playlists right now. Sick. Where would you guide them as far as how you would label your music?
From traditional labels that already exist?
Yes. Or we can create some new ones.
That sounds like an interesting way to box yourself in.
Let's do it.
Nah, I don't really know, honestly. I think that's part of being the artist too, is like, it's okay not to know where I fit in. I don't know. When I came down here, it was a heavy influence in soulful and disco house, right? I was living in New York for a few years. I come from a lineage of relationships that are based in soulful house.
Nice.
I worded that pretty well. I'm proud of myself for getting through that sentence.
Killed it.
Thanks. And it was actually coming down to Austin every now and again and experience places like Kingdom. Right?
Yes.
That introduced me to other forms of house music, and it blew my mind. And then that kind of took me down this pathway of, house music that in Mexico or South African house and cats like Black Coffee or whoever, right? Yep. This tribal, this heartbeat within the music. I don't know. Just kind of dug it. So I'm really spread out a bit with different genres of house, I guess.
As he should be. It'd just be weird if I'm EDM to the core and I just want to shove that down people's throats. I don't think anybody actually really claims, even if they are playing EDM, they don't claim it anymore. Yeah. They go off on a variation. Yeah. And the way that you're saying,
it's okay. I'm not. Hey, I was in Vegas when those things were happening, and it was a vibe. Pyrotechnics in a club. Come on. Who doesn't want that?
All the glow paint, all the
toys.
But you know what? EDM was the big cash out for the music industry. They're like, holy shit, we're in a streaming world, and these EDM concerts are finally revitalizing. You don't have to be Madonna or Elton John. You can just put together a Tomorrowland and just take all of these Molly babies, Xanax bar babies money. And, shear them and then send them off to the next one because it's more of an experience. And I'm being judgmental. And honestly, I don't get that at all. Those people are there for an experience, just like anybody is to see music. But EDM was there for a while, just like a huge cash cow. And now, for me, it's always had negative connotations. And now I feel like even EDM artists are I just want to escape that. I'm actually Skytrance or, I'm tropical house, which is the genre that we're going to talk about today.
Let's do it.
Do you know anything about tropical house?
Yes and no. Right. I know enough about myself to know that I don't know anything. Right. So yeah, but how can I put this? I don't know. It's weird with genres, right? Because your definition of tropical house or whatever that thing is could be different than the next person. Yeah. And you're all looking at the same thing because it's art, right?
It sounds a lot better than it actually is. Tropical house, it's just oh yeah, it's chilled out tropical music. This would be perfect for Tulum, hanging on a beach. When in reality, tropical house was invented by mostly young, affluent Scandinavian guys who wanted to take EDM music and incorporate marimba and flutes into that. And it was originally launched as a joke by a guy named Thomas Jack. And 2013, he got together with his producer and he was like, I want to bring this Caribbean style into my EDM music and let's just call it tropical house. And it was a joke, but it ended up bringing in a few artists under that umbrella, most notably Kygo. If you talk about tropical house, you're probably going to him eventually.
It's the GOAT, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So Kygo, his name is Kier. I'm going to kill this. Kier Gorvel Dahl. And he was born in Bergen, Norway. And as a 22-year-old, he was a finance bro at Edinburgh University. This is so EDM. So he was just taking Adderall at Edinburgh.
I love all of your descriptions. Just
hitting the beats. And, his idol at the time, wasn't Michael Jackson, wasn't John Lennon. It was Avicii. Rest in peace.
Absolutely.
But armed with his MacBook, he started making these what he called sexy sounds that incorporated the Caribbean beats. And he started to blow up via SoundCloud and Tumblr and YouTube. So like many other music genres, tropical house was born on the internet. It was conceived on the internet and it continues to just pretty much exist on there, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, to a certain regard. But it immediately had guys like Austrian duo Kling Karessel, Robin Schultz. These are some other artists that have, done tropical house, but immediately it got associated with just like nice soundscapes, beaches, sunny, picturesque.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, the lifestyle. So it got named Instagram House.
What?
Because a lot of people are just like, this is perfect for Instagram. This is literally like what you want to put on when it's you and your two skimpily clad, girlfriends running on the beach trying to, ring up those
likes.
Yeah. Instagram and TikTok likes. You're going to play Kygo to do that. So right out of the gate, it already had like negative connotations with it. Like people were already like, what the fuck is this saccharine, sunny bullshit that has no tether to reality? But it continued on and it still exists today. However, most people that have claimed it have now disowned it. So tropical house, you can look up on Spotify, but if you talk to any of the artists, they're like, I'm past that stage of my life. I don't want to talk about it. I'm now on to the next. Yeah. When you think of tropical house, what are you thinking of besides, hanging in a Tulum bungalow, sipping on margaritas? I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. To go off of the description that we just came off of, it's really difficult to nail something, right? But when I think like I have a folder in my crates, right, that says like tropical vibes, and it's how can I word this? It's not really any of that stuff that you described. Yeah. It's like my perception of what tropical would be, right?
Absolutely.
It may be a Rufus remix that I just imagine myself in that environment. It's like, how would I orchestrate the sounds to this environment? That's kind of like
I'm thinking like poolside Caliucci's like fun tropical mix. Unfortunately, this fucking subgenre is just chock full of posers who have done too much Adderall on their MacBooks. I'm just kidding, but not really. As a form of house, it was minted by affluent Europeans rather than inner city Americans. Tropical house's dreamy escapism speaks to a lifestyle that's idyllic but affordable, if only for a fortnight in the summer. So somebody, characterized it as this is a time and place cobbled together from Qantas adverts, the airline, episodes of Made in Chelsea, TripAdvisor reviews, and people's gap year photos.
Oh my gosh.
So tropical house tracks are still invariably illustrated with beaches, sunsets, tan girls, sunglasses, bikinis. And it still fits in with the Tumblr, Instagram aesthetic, but it almost feels like the Instagram filter of music. Like this is, and it's become highly commercialized to the point where, it was a new upstart when it first came out of the gate. And now this is something that I feel like you would hear on a Fire Festival advert. Like, let's get you out to this island where nothing's set up, or, you know, like, this is how we get you, you know, to a sandals resort where, you know, it quickly turns into a cult or something like that. Like, it's just sunny kind of background music that has gone off. So, you know, it's been bastardized to a certain regard. But Kygo and Thomas Jack both have disowned it. Thomas Jack says he wants to forget about that part of his life. He's moved on to burner music. So he wants to create, this is, you know, incredible, but he went to Burning Man and he was so changed by it. You just never hear this from people who go to Burning Man, that it was so life-changing. But he wanted to start creating music specific for Burning Man. So
for that experience.
Yeah. So now he's jumped from tropical house to burner, trance burner house that will specifically be made to burn effigies in the desert too. Yeah.
Yeah. All the things we can't necessarily speak of that happens at Burning Man, I'm sure. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, thank you for that education and that deep dive into the background of tropical. You know, I appreciate
Music
that.
Fringe.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting that a bunch of Nordic guys who are literally in snowy little hamlets up in their ski towns are writing music that's co-opting sounds from the Caribbean and putting it out, you know, that's basically selling, you know, all-inclusive resorts across the world. Like, this is the music that I feel like plays when you get on a Carnival cruise. And
trying to set the vibe.
Yeah, everybody's just getting super into it. They're trying to set the vibe, but also sell you on like all the Tommy Bahama shit and push their merch at the same time. Yeah. It just feels like a vessel of commercialization that maybe we don't need in this world. Like, maybe Tropical House.
Is this podcast the death of Tropical House?
Well, here's the thing. Once you declare the death, then it usually lives on. Like,
so we could be helping right now.
Exactly. Like, once you could declare it dead, then there's a bunch of hipsters who are like, oh, well, it's not dead. We're going to revitalize it in this way. We're going to create, you know, Carnival buffet core. Yeah. You know, we're going to take this. This is going to be Sandals Resort Trance. This is going to be, you know, Tulum Club Cult, you know, SoundCloud Trance. It could be anything. It could really spin out into anything. And that's the beauty of the internet.
We should start a night here. Tropical House night.
Exactly. And just play Kygo remix
all night long.
Here's the problem. It would sell out and it would just be so successful that we would hate ourselves immediately and have to donate all that money to like a charity of our choosing.
And then we would say we never wanted to throw that in the first place.
Yeah, just to wash our hands of it. Like, oh my God, what have we done? So we're just looking out at this massive, you know, just vapid people bouncing along. Like, I think I'm going to take Molly tonight for sure. Not that there's anything wrong with MDMA taking it.
It's therapy for folks.
It helps with empathy for sure. But when you get into like your style of music, obviously nobody wants to, you know, be boxed in or have any labels thrown at them. But personally listening to it, I thought it was, you know, it had deep house elements.
Thank you.
And it was catchy and it's awesome. I mean, that's at the end of the day, it's just like, what does it do for you? But if you were, you know, if you had to appeal to a group of internet trolls that wanted to label your music and become your biggest fan,
those are who I'm after for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you co-opt that group? Like, what style of music would you like to be the pioneer of?
Well, first thought would be Tropical House. Other than that, man, it's such an ambitious question. I think I like house music with soul to it. As long as it has soul to it, I don't care whether you got a marimba in there, if you got a clav, if you got a disco sample, whatever that thing is, as long as you feel something. Like during DJ sets, I say the biggest compliment to a DJ, one of the biggest compliments other than raising your phone and giving a Shazam is,
I love that.
It's the best. It's It's dope. Is someone on a dance floor like with their eyes closed, like losing themselves in the moment. And those are the moments that I chase. So maybe like close your eyes genre or something like that. Sleep. I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's word that.
Insomniac.
I think that's been taken.
Flow state.
Flow state. There you go.
Oh,
transcendence. That's a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
But you know.
Flow state funk. Flow state.
Flow state funk. Yeah.
Flow state
Soulful, deep trance, soulful ascendance.
You know what? Like I always thought, like, you know, because I'm usually on the dance floor, I'm never behind the decks like you. So I always thought, like, if I want to show love to a DJ,
yeah,
like I'm just gonna
shoulder shrug. The point. Pew pew.
You're just waiting for him to catch your eye because you're always looking at it, like, hey,
lock eyes.
Or I throw out the like, hey, or like, yeah, or like, you know,
all
like,
those are dope.
You like tried to add to it and like hype him up. Like you'll try to be a hype man, but I'm thinking all these things I'm doing are just incredibly annoying to those DJs, and maybe just shutting my eyes and vibing might be the perfect compliment.
I mean, both work. If you got 1,500 people doing, then it's. I mean, that's kind of like a standing ovation. So. Yeah, either way works. I'm down. As long as you're expressing yourself and you living in it and you feeling it, then that's all that matters. But yeah, it would be, I don't know, a combination of genres, so to speak. Yeah.
Flow state centric. Vibe insomniac. I also like maybe throwing in like Shazam, arm rock, or like, you know, because you just mentioned like raising your arm to Shazam a song is the ultimate compliment. And I agree with that. And even though I get torn down by people I'm with and people in my life who think I'm being egregious by finding Shazam songs. And not only that, getting up from my chair and maneuvering to where I can get less of the din and more of the speaker. And then at the end of it, it's like, if I'm not getting it, I'm getting a manager. And I'm finding out like what playlist you're going off of. And then, you know, like sometimes they're like, oh, it's actually a playlist I made. And like,
and that's a conversation. Then you hang out.
Yeah. Like this is way better than, you know, the meal that you just provided. Like this is where I want. So I think like Shazam, like arm, you know, raise your hand house.
Sure. Yeah. Raise your hand house. I need that. I need that, you know.
It's so addictive. You're just gonna have to raise your hand.
I like that.
With your experience in house music, though, you just said that, you know, soul needs to be incorporated, and I think that's a big thing for me. Like it can get very mechanical and robotic, and at that point, like you're losing me. And I like new disco.
Oh yeah,
a lot. I think disco has been waiting for its resurgence for a long time. And I think house music has been the vehicle to kind of bring it back.
It started house music, disco. So, I mean, it's,
What did start house music? Let's hear.
Yeah, my perception on this. That's how you have to word it, right? Before you start giving any kind of thing. Exactly. My perception
According
on this
to Wikipedia
is, you know, they had the disco records back in the day, and then disco was like kind of like shitted on, right? For whatever reason, for whatever disco promoted, people just didn't like it. And there was a time when people rebelled against disco. And then there were some cats that were like, you know what? I'm going to take this disco record, I'm going to put it in a sampler, and I'm going to add this 4 to the floor drum. And that was like some of the earlier house records. You know, pieces of these disco records that then were looped, and that's how we got some of the house that has come out.
And who are like pioneers for you? You know, not exactly in starting house music, but getting you into it.
Hands down, I would say it would be Terry Hunter from Chicago. Years ago, I went to the Chosen Few picnic, which is in Chicago. It's like, I don't know, 20, 30,000 people in a park in Chicago, like jamming house music.
Nice.
And I went out there and I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, I've never seen people lose their shit together like that. You know, people out there blowing whistles and dancing and running in place. And it was all dope. And that was kind of like when the bug bit me, is when Terry was playing.
And you followed it since. So were you making music before that happened? Or
I was.
And what was your music like before?
Hip hop, R&B, and emotional, sad, odd, strange sound, crazy, getting things off my chest music.
Love it.
Yeah.
So like sad boy / hardcore.
Yeah. I mix this sadness with this drum that knock, and
just really confused in my bedroom music.
Hell yeah. All confusion. You can hear it on some of my earlier joints. It's confusion. But yeah, so then the house music thing happened, and I sat on it for a bit, a couple of years, and then I was like, let me like try to make one. Yeah, and it happened.
And what did you make it on? Like, what was that process?
The first house record, sure.
Yeah.
That I made.
No, was it just like, I'm going to take what I've already been using and start trying to make a house beat? Or was it like, I got to learn this new program or?
Nah, it was more like, I'm going to start making this record like I normally do. And then house came out of me and I was like, I was like, what? Okay.
So you're just listening back and it's like, this is dope.
Yeah, this is a lot faster than I normally make, that kind of thing.
Nice.
And it just developed from there.
And with playing in Austin right now, do you have any upcoming, I know you've been playing around at different clubs, but do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, I don't know when this is going to air, but next week I'll be playing my homeboy DJ Immaculate. He's in the crew with Terry Hunter and everything like that, playing his stream. So that's kind of cool because, streaming is still a big thing. Not everywhere is open like Austin is right now. And then club wise, at the end of the month, we're doing something that I just found out about yesterday at Native, Romperuma Native upstairs.
Absolutely.
So there's a DJ that's coming in town and I'll be playing with him. Yeah, that's all I know right now, I think.
So you're staying busy?
A little bit.
Do you feel like you're on the crest of a wave of this post-pandemic explosion of new artists here in Austin? Because what's happened is a lot of artists have left Austin. Some have died out, but some have completely come out of their cocoons as new butterflies of like different styles of music. And then you have people like you who really haven't gotten a fair shot at playing live shows yet. That's just going to come out of the gate as soon as live music starts. So do you feel you're on the precipice of fulfilling your destiny?
Yes, Lee. I do think, yeah, for sure. There's definitely something brewing here. Like, even there's like a shift in music happening right now that I feel, and with the reception of music and how people are feeling it. I mean, me being here today is an example of it. You know what I mean? So yes, it's about to go down. Buckle the fuck up.
Hype this shit up.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talked about Austin, the vibe in general is everybody's trying to help each other out. And in the music space, that goes double. I feel like most people are willing to lend space or, production time. But what's been missing in Austin, especially since Kingdom's gone, is just that electronic scene. And, there are definitely DJs that have been playing here for years. But, what do you have? Ghostland Observatory that, doesn't do much and, they don't play too much in town anymore. They're not working with a lot of the young artists. So have you latched on to other, people that are on the same wavelength as you, trying to make house music and play shows?
Nah, not really. I think from an artist standpoint, I'm still kind of finding my artist tribe here. Yeah, so not really. I found a lot of the audience, right? I found the people that enjoy it, but as far as other artists that I can kind of really riff off of and kind of push each other, I haven't found that yet.
So he's actively searching on Craigslist.
Yes.
Anywhere else we can get people going. Yeah, I'm surprised there's been no offshoots from dating apps and electronic music. And why is there not Tinder House or Bumble?
There should be.
Or Hinge Core, stuff like that, where people are just venting their frustrations with being in an echo chamber of their own misery and rejection.
Sure.
And let that come through. I mean, How was your dating experience? Just to put you on the spot,
Sick.
Ben in Austin.
I'm down for it. I've never used an app. I'm old school. So my ground game is pretty strong, so to speak. But dating, I don't know. I'm just out here just vibing is the best way to put it. I'm not in any relationships or anything like that. I'm just out here vibing, getting acclimated to the city, so to speak.
If you met, somebody who's you're hanging at Barton Springs and you're just like, let's go back to my place. I got this awesome vinyl collection / gemstones.
That's what I lead with.
Yeah.
You got to see my vinyl collection, how massive it is. Sure.
It is extensive.
Extensive. Yeah.
Also, I have fully charged Good Vibe gems. I have a rock collection of their EGC.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Vinyl and gems at Barton Springs.
Especially
anybody's going to go home with you. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. But once you get there, like, what is the track that you put on for them to just...
That's funny.
It could either be to get them in the mood or to just like put them at ease.
What mood?
The mood to bake in the kitchen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got you. All right. So I would treat said experience like you treat a DJ. This sounds so crazy, but like I'm a DJ. So reading energy, reading crowds, reading the vibe is important. So if someone were to make it back to my place, I would probably play something that we can connect on, whatever that thing is. So it may not even be house.
Pandering. You don't have like
all day
ready to go. Okay.
No, you can't go into it like prepared.
And that's a sign of a smooth operator. That's somebody who's actually taking in the stimuli and giving out something that people can latch onto. You're not just like,
it's not a prepackaged meal here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's made to order.
Have you heard of The Weeknd? We're gonna listen to the whole trilogy right here.
Yeah, we're going deep
because it's gonna be sick.
But if The Weeknd is their thing, it can make it across the player as well. You know what I mean? Depends.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I love The Weeknd's new album, and I love the big fuck you that he gave to the Grammys.
It's fair.
And that he's been railing against it. He's like, dude, you're one of the biggest artists in the world, and you're like being a crybaby about not getting nominated. Mm-hmm. But I still support him completely going after them.
Yeah.
Like he spent like $7 million on a Super Bowl performance to elevate it out. That was very cocaine centric. If you want to see, in fact, almost all of his music is.
Shout out disco music.
Oh yeah. What would disco be without cocaine? Like, would people
probably
actually
slower?
It would just be soul. Yeah.
It would just be, yeah.
Like they wouldn't have lit up dance floors. Nobody would be wearing the flannel.
Probably not.
There'd be a lot less, medallions and chains.
For sure.
Studio 54 would have just been like a French bistro.
Probably just coffee house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk about your influences though, if you had to go back and like,
let's do it,
find, that key moment of riding in the back of your parents' car where like music started to change you.
Mm-hmm.
What artists or songs brings back that nostalgia?
There's a slew of them, right? So records like, I was just listening to it yesterday. Anita Baker, like artists like Anita Baker. Luther, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Isley Brothers, Boys II Men, even because like when we was coming up, that's like their music. And then my music would be like Boys II Men. It would be like TLC. It would be Mace. It would be I don't know, just whatever was on the radio and my mom was like vibing with. A lot of oldies though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a lot of radio or they're just playing their own stuff?
A lot of radio in the car. At home, my mother would play music extremely loud, especially on a Sunday while we cleaned. And it would be like Sounds of Blackness or the Jacksons, Arie. Like this is a little, further up. Arie and things like that. Like just soulful jams.
Yeah.
that when I heard it back then, I was like, ugh.
Whenever I need to calm down, I put on that Indie Arie song where she's just hanging out on the front porch, just strumming. And I'm not the same.
Oh, yeah. Come on now.
I can't.
Come on now. Yeah.
I'm going too far back.
Yeah.
But so you took all of that and like, was your whole family, did they end up getting into music? Because I feel like, like were your parents into music or... I mean, like, were they involved in creating music?
No.
Okay.
No one in my upbringing was, I'm thinking back. No, they weren't. It was just like there was the background to whatever was happening. So the music was always kind of like on, just not a focal point.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're the star child who's carrying on.
Yeah, I'm the one that's going to change everything.
And it's through co-opting Tropical House.
Exactly.
And refurbishing it into a way that we can get everybody down with it. Because at one point, people were describing Tropical House as Tropical House is to dance music what the Beach Boys' Kokomo is to rock music, which is just vicious.
Wow. Who wrote this? Where's this from?
You know what? This is all from the critic side.
Like that's the site?
No, you know, these are people who obviously have a bone to pick with Tropical House. But even from like the artists themselves, you know, they hate kind of what they created. When they asked Thomas Jack about it, you know, what do you think of Tropical House? Well, he's like, things aren't all pina coladas and sun loungers. I feel like it's just a lot of sounds that sound like Toto's Africa.
It's a great record, by the way.
Being remade, which is not, you know, a terrible thing to be the seed to grow from. But, you know, it's a little played out at the end of the day. And if somebody was to like walk into your bedroom and you're dancing to a certain style of music, what would you be most embarrassed that is on your playlist that you jam out?
None of it, because I own all of it. But something for this conversation may be what was it? The Madonna joint, the prayer.
Like a prayer?
Yeah. What? That joint go. That hit hard, bro. That's so hard.
Would you ever remix Madonna?
I don't know. Not at the moment. Maybe. I don't know.
Her newer stuff is just as good.
Then she did a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Years ago. Yeah. She had a good show.
What are your thoughts on double claps and disco? Yeah. Everybody bringing it in. It tightens it up a little bit.
I think double claps are needed. I like double claps.
You're pro double clap.
I'm pro double clap.
We need more of them. And, you know, what are, if you had to take sacrament through the religion of music, like what artist is most religious centric to you that you feel like most spiritually inclined? Like this is a heavy sacramental moment. You're not going to play church music. That's off the table. Like,
within house music?
Within any.
So don't name Kirk Franklin. Don't go all the way, right? No. Nah, you know what's crazy? I think right. There's you know, honestly, because this is on my playlist of things that inspire me. Chance the Rapper.
Nice.
Like he has some of those records that kind of like help me be grounded every now and again. I'm feeling a little crazy. I put that thing on. I'm in the shower singing, vibing. You know what I mean? I
feel like he created that because I know he had like a Xanax addiction at the beginning of his, and he's had, you know, a lot of anxiety and
don't we all?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, once you get past that, you don't need the Xanax anymore. Like you've created your own Soma type vibe where you just need to be on that level. Not to mention he's just like one of, you know, he's an independent rapper that like trailblazed the game.
He's a great guy.
Absolutely. Have you met him?
Passively once.
Really?
Passively once, yeah. In New Orleans.
He looks like he'd be really small. Like he's super
he's darn near. I think he's like almost my height or just about my height.
Is he?
It was surprising how tall he was.
That's incredible.
It was him and like two friends. It was cool.
if you had to create a Frankenbaby of music, like mixing genres that previously have not been brought together before, like what would you want to dig into and birth and set free?
That's interesting. Well, I've been really into like psych rock inspired things recently, right? So that big fan of house. I love hip hop. I love drum and bass. And yeah, maybe some folk in there. Yeah, just a few different things. Just throw it in a pot and see what happens.
I like that folk psych.
Yeah, folk is a vibe. And I'm late to the folk game.
Are you?
Bro, it's a whole vibe. What? Yeah.
No, folk in Austin is paramount. We've got a lot of great folk artists here.
Yeah.
We got freak folk. You got every type of folk music. Folktronica exists.
Folktronica?
Yeah.
Oh, teach me.
Yeah, these are people who have taken like Simon and Garfunkel tracks and turned them into like electronic remixes. And
is it hard and aggressive?
No.
Cool. Because you can't do that to folk.
Exactly. It still keeps a very chill vibe. They stretch it out a little bit. But it's like if Bob Dylan's son, got into mushrooms and, took a little Molly and vibed out like at a seaside retreat. Like this is
the Austin starter pack.
Yeah. You guys, I'm Austin sober, so I just microdose every day and then I MDMA dose every night.
Craziness.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like your intro to Austin, I feel like you've had a crash course of just fucking showing up in the middle of pandemic and trying to make something happen at a time where most artists are suffering. But you have this innate optimism that's carrying you through and allowing you to shine at a time where most artists are really besides themselves and moving back home with their parents. You're not living with your parents.
Thank God for that, for sure. But that's not to say that I was not in a place of confusion. When all this first happened, I came down for South by, and I was here. The day I landed was the day that the NBA canceled. And I was like, what do you mean? You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then we were all there. And then the thing happened. And it's about 2 weeks of like confusion is the best word to put it.
So you didn't have a place here. You're just down here for South by. You're going to do some shows and go back.
Yeah. I came here to do some shows. I had planned for like 2 months with like the sets and stuff like that and different things I wanted to do. Good lineup of shows. And then everything happened. And then I had to go back to New York and live that life, be cooped up in an apartment in New York.
Oh, so you went back.
Yeah.
And then you were just like, this life is not for me. I know a place where the microdoses
Utopia.
flow like the salmon of Capistrano, where you can go to Barton Springs and meet, a hippie chick who has hair under her arms, who also hasn't washed her hair in a few decades. But she has a great Sam Cooke collection when you go back to her place. Like, this is the town.
Sounds like my kind of girl. You had me at Sam Cooke.
I want that crunchy granola. I'll disregard everything as long as we end with Sam Cooke.
And crunchy granola. Yeah.
Oh, like
that.
That's,
come on.
That's half the check.
I'm vegan, so it's a thing.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fuck
dude, you already checked the boxes of like 99% of females in this town.
Done and done.
Like, good music, artist, creative.
Yeah.
Vegan? Let's do it.
Birkenstocks? Let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah. I was wondering the other day, I was like, how is Birkenstock still in business? And I was just like, well, it is Austin. But then I realized that they totally got saved by like another conglomerate that just brought them in. Like they were totally going out of business. But there's like Birkenstock stores still. And can you imagine, the people who are working retail at those stores? Like what's their
experience
story? Yeah.
I don't know. Well, when I purchased my said Birkenstocks, they were really nice in that store. I love them. I love the Birkenstocks.
And by the way, we're looking for a great sandal sponsor.
Yes, Birkenstock. If you're out there, I really love it, and support me.
I love
you. Already supporting my souls, my soul. Tagline:
Birkenstock core, Birkenstock, Birkenstock house. That
would be vibes.
Flow state Birkenstock.
Yeah.
House.
Put the cork in it.
I think at your next show, we should just make up a bunch of different music genres and create
I'm down.
a lot of hype around that. And just like, this is actually the birth of Birkenstock House.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be witness to it. Inferno may or may not be the godfather of that.
Down. Sign me up.
And then create like 3 aliases that come on and do their own sets after. And
We can be a duo.
yeah,
We can. I'll do everything. You just stand there and just, be cool.
I can just put on different masks and come out and do kabuki theater behind you.
Down.
Which is all I'm good for.
Cool.
And twerk. But
Jesus.
there's a lot of twerking and amphetamines in this town, unfortunately.
It's a strange place.
As it goes. But I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast and letting me pick your brain around just landing in Austin and just the cool experience that you've had, since coming here.
Thanks.
And I really appreciate you rolling through Tropical House with me and not being too judgmental about a style of music that was created by Norwegian, affluent guys who are co-opting different styles of music. But that's what it is. And that's what pays their bills. And they're doing great with it.
Can't be mad at that at all. Absolutely.
As long as everybody's getting paid and the sponsors are happy.
That's true. Congratulations to you on this whole thing.
Oh yeah, it'll be shut down within like this will probably be it. But it was fun.
Yeah, it's fun while it lasted. We did it. We did the thing.
They got a whole background and stuff, but this will all be a fading memory soon. So
it's all right.
We can enjoy it while it lasts. But again, thanks again, Ferno, for coming on.
No doubt.
And this is the Music Fringe.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home on the web at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.